David Bowie.
Yep.
And it's got a bit of a mashup in the middle. You'll hear that when we get there.
Yep.
Which I think you actually sang on a King Singer album.
Okay.
Life on Bars. Oh, that may have actually been your predecessor. I think that was Nigel.
Right. Okay. It wasn't me, I don't think. Although the old memory is not what it was. Yeah. Okay, very good.
Here we go.
Well, excellent. So this is Changes. David Bowie's Changes. Well, what a lot of challenges Mr. Axler has created in this arrangement for these young people here. And they've dealt pretty well with all of them, haven't they? So, if we go through our little shopping list here of things that we might be listening out for, if you were adjudicators at a choral festival here, and you were giving a marks out of 10, so you've got your little checklist down the side here, blend, balance, intonation, style, the whole thing. Let's give them 10 out of 10 for style straight away, shall we? Because that, I mean, you've absolutely got hold of this thing, and that's, I'm sure we would all agree with that. So, this also features some strange sounds, this thing. Can you just remind us how the, Corey, could you just do the very first 5-6 bars, just remind you about what they're required to do at the beginning of this thing? That was actually, from my point of view, that was slightly more successful that time around than it was the first time around. Can you tell me, as you listen to that, as you sing that, can you tell me what is the most difficult thing about making that first Mr. Axler has spelled as B-E-A-R-N, but actually it's sort of bad, isn't it? Yep, a German for wood. Fine. So what is going to be the most difficult thing from an ensemble point of view? I'm talking about the ensemble here. Go on. Somebody's going to tell me, yeah. Right. This young lady is absolutely right. 10 out of 10. It's what we call a diphthong. You ever come across the word diphthong in your study of the English language? One of the reasons that Italian is such a lovely language to sing in, Latin, such a lovely language to sing in, they have pure vowel sounds. English, why does the world learn English? I mean, ours is an absolutely crazy language. And one of the things that's crazy about it is that the vowel sounds, the bits in the middle of words, like dad, your father, dad, D-Ed, so the vowel sound is a. Well, that one's all right because it doesn't change. It starts as a and it finishes as a. Bow. If I did that on a piece of, you're too young to remember reel-to-reel tape recorders, but if I had an old-style reel-to-reel tape recorder and I slowed it down to half speed, having said the word bow into it, it would go ba. Good grief. So that if I'm going to go bow, the first sound is actually ba. That's where it starts. Bow. You're so right. Within the space of one whole note there, the notion that we all do exactly the same thing at the same time is going to be really tricky, isn't it? Yeah. And the other really tricky thing here, I mean, Mr. Axler, I don't know why you don't lock him in a cover or something, because when he produces arrangements like this, the very first sound is designed to push you off the note. Boom! Okay, it's the most explosive sound that you can make. Because what you do is you put your lips together, you compress them, and then you make this little explosion. Boom! That is the letter B. So the first thing that's going to happen is that you've got the note in your head, the first consonant will push you off it. And then, within the space of one whole note, you're all supposed to turn this around at the same time, get to the letter M, back, and then do the whole thing over again. You do that 4 times, don't you? Yeah, that's really hard. It was better the second time. I'll give you a tip. Don't bang that B too hard, because it will push you off the note. I mean, that's the danger. And it wouldn't matter particularly. The difference between B and M is that M is the B without the explosion, isn't it? You form it in exactly the same way. And B. I mean, B is an M with an explosion, isn't it? So if there was a touch more M about it, a touch less B, you give yourself a better chance of something on the note you thought you were going to start on. And then, and this is aerials again, it's all about ears and sticking your antenna up. And turning this thing round so you get to the end of that one and then starting the next one. Do you mind doing the first 4 bars again? This is difficult territory here. It really is. It's got that sort of, you've restored the slight electronic, the electronic guitar thing, which is fine. Now, so that's one thing. And I haven't asked you, so what were lots of when they sang the piece all the way through, let's tell them what was really good about that. Please.
Resetting mics and soloists did a really good job.
Right. The soloists were doing a really good job. That's true. Absolutely right. And what else about this? Blend, balance, intonation, style. We covered style. What else did we enjoy about this? Yes, please. Yeah, so blending the changes from one sound to another. Yeah? Sir?
I thought blending the parts together was actually...
Right, the blend of the parts is absolutely fine. There is a balance issue, actually, at the moment. I mean, the soloists are doing a fine job. But it's difficult to hear those solo lines coming out. Now look, what I was saying to the earlier groups, we just have to pick up on the fact that it wasn't your group, but somebody else's, doesn't mean to say that it doesn't apply to you too. Balance is achieved. Any conductor, Mr. Axel standing here, me standing here, anybody standing here, beyond the last rehearsal, there are certain things that we can't fix anymore. Okay? That you have to do that. And this is about singing in different acoustics. This may work differently in other places, in drier acoustics. This may work differently. But what you need to do in a piece like this, you know that there are solos. So, the absolutely critical thing is that we hear those solos. So, one is, I'm going to encourage those of you who've got solos to just stand and deliver. Okay? You've got elbows. Metaphorically, just elbow everybody else. Okay? You've got a solo, just say, soloist coming through. Okay? That's one thing. But the other thing is, if you're the accompaniment to this thing, you've got to, you're not allowed to enjoy yourself too much there. Okay? You've just got to keep that down. The fact of the matter is, you're close to whoever the soloist is at any one moment. If you can't hear it properly, then neither. Okay? So that balancing thing, that's down to you. You might get a gesture from the front here just to say keep that down. But actually it shouldn't be necessary. You should have your ears on that and just make sure that it's all right. Do you want to run it from the start, at least to the middle? Yeah. Just once more, just so that we can put some of that right.
Actually, I wouldn't mind if you literally sit down just a bit, just so that you can also give us a bit of visual. Oh, where's the solo? It will help you, and it will help us realize that. Okay, Gian doesn't have that. We get to you. Good. Bring it.
Absolutely. You're doing a grand job. Grand job. Because I looked around at all the other people doing singing around me, and I went in performance, and they didn't seem to be nervous. It seemed to me to be nervous. So I assumed that actually, when it came to performances, that they weren't nervous. And I was the only one here dying of nerves. Can I tell you something? What I now know to be true is that everybody is nervous. It's just that he doesn't show. And actually the great thing is when you do it, you might be nervous, but he doesn't show. Alright? So it's fine, isn't it? What that tells you is it's okay to be nervous. And actually, it's really quite important to be nervous, because if you weren't nervous, there'd be something wrong. Actually, about performance, there should be something going through you that says, this is the one. Yeah, okay. And so not only was it better right from the word go, there was a moment when I came down here and shut these girls up. Yeah? And I could see it was like ticker tape across your forehead. You're saying, what's he doing? Well, there's a big question mark there. And when you realise what I was doing, and I smiled at you, do you know what you did? You smiled at me. And when you smiled at me, the performance went up another 100%, didn't it? Absolutely. So even if you don't feel like smiling, even if you don't feel like smiling, smile. Okay? I think we should do that again. There's a smile that you can manage even when you're nervous. Okay? There is a smile that you can manage even when you're nervous. And you'll find that enormous. This is fine, and we just need to suppress all that around this. There's a difference, isn't there? Particularly in these generous acoustics here. When you produce low sounds, the building doesn't like them so much. The building loves the high ones. And actually most buildings are like that. So when this young lady goes, right, that's it. What's that lyric?
Take a look at the long man.
Right. Take a look at the. That's going to be hard to do. Law. I break windows when I do that. Okay, so we see how that works. I don't know. Do they make you do PE at school these days? Right. Okay. I mean, this is very old school. I'm about to give my age away here. This is very old school. But once upon a time, they had something called a vaulting horse. Mm-hmm. And there was a springboard that led up to it. And this vaulting horse could be put at any sort of height. And they always told you, I mean, there's things they tell kids, you know, and you think that can't be true. Surely that can't be true. They always told you that if you want to get over that thing, when you run up to the springboard, the way to get over is actually to hit that springboard as hard as you possibly can, because that's what's going to take you up in the air. Yep. So what was that line again?
Take a look at the
law. Law is going to look after itself. Okay, that's not a problem. So you want to hit, take a look at her. That's your springboard. You want to go bang, bang, take a look at her. Yeah, hit that one hard, and then law. That's good. That sorts itself out. Okay. Is there a place where you can just sort of background?
Yeah,
to
so
that?
we go.
That's perfectly clear to me. I hope that's...
1, 2, 3.